Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. The war ended without music, without victory speeches, and without hope. It ended in silence. The silence came after Earth's defense grid failed, after the last human fleet burned near the moon, after the sky over several cities glowed red for hours and then went dark forever. Humanity lost. Not because they were weak, not because they refused to fight, but because the enemy did not fight like humans did. The alien empire called itself the Karzan Dominion. They did not shout in battle. They did not celebrate victory. They moved like a single mind, cold and exact, crushing resistance with calm precision. When the last human ship surrendered, the Dominion did something unexpected. They did not wipe out Earth. They did not enslave the planet. They judged it. Elias Vorn stood inside a chamber larger than any building he had ever seen. The floor beneath his boots was black and smooth like frozen water. Tall alien pillars rose toward a ceiling hidden by shadows. Strange lights moved slowly above, like stars trapped inside glass. He stood alone. Chains of glowing metal wrapped around his wrists, but they were loose. Not meant to restrain him, only to remind him that he no longer mattered. Elias had been a naval officer, a strategist. He had commanded ships, given orders, and watched people die because of his decisions. Now he was just a human waiting for a sentence. Around him stood the judges of the Dominion. Their forms were tall and armored, their faces hidden behind smooth masks. Their voices did not echo. They did not need to raise them. One of them spoke. Human Elias Vorn, designation, Resistance Fleet Commander. The voice was neither male nor female. It carried no emotion. You are found guilty of organized defiance against Dominion authority. Elias did not speak. He had learned that silence was safer than pride. Another judge continued. Execution is denied. That single sentence sent a ripple through the chamber. Elias felt his breath pause. Denied. The Dominion was known for one thing above all else: efficiency. They killed enemies quickly. Mercy was not part of their nature. The first judge spoke again. Your punishment will serve a greater purpose. The floor beneath Elias shifted, not violently, but enough to remind him how small he truly was. You are sentenced. The word felt heavier than death. Sentenced to service. Elias slowly raised his eyes. The judges turned, all of them, toward a massive display behind the chamber. The image shifted, forming the shape of a single alien figure. Tall, armored, still. The lights dimmed slightly, as if the chamber itself feared what it showed. The name appeared in sharp alien symbols, then it translated. Commander Zyra Vale. The reaction was immediate. Alien guards stiffened. A few stepped back without realizing it. Even the judges paused just for a moment. Elias noticed. Fear was not something he had seen in the Dominion before. What does this mean? Elias asked, his voice calm despite the cold in his chest. One of the judges finally looked at him. You will serve her. No explanation followed. Elias was removed from the chamber without resistance. No one dragged him. No one needed to. The decision had already been made. As he was led through long metallic halls, alien soldiers avoided his eyes. Some looked at him with something close to pity. Others looked away entirely. One finally spoke, his voice low and sharp. You should have chosen death, human. Elias did not respond. He was placed aboard a Dominion warship unlike any he had seen before. It was larger than a city block, shaped with brutal symmetry. No windows, no visible weapons. Only power. The ship was silent as it moved through space. No vibration, no sound. It felt like standing inside a thought rather than a machine. Elias was given a small chamber. No bars, no guards, only a single door that could open or close whenever the ship decided. Time passed, hours, maybe longer. Finally, the door opened. "Follow," an alien officer said. They walked through corridors that grew darker the deeper they went. The air felt heavier. Elias noticed subtle details, stronger armor, more weapons, fewer voices. This was not a place for weakness. They stopped before a massive door, marked with unfamiliar symbols. The officer hesitated. Then the door opened on its own. Inside was the command chamber. It was wide and open, filled with floating displays and shifting light. At its center stood a raised platform, and on it stood Commander Zyra Vale. She did not turn when Elias entered. Her armor was dark, edged with faint crimson lines that pulsed slowly. She stood tall, perfectly still, as if movement itself was a choice she did not waste. When she finally turned, her eyes locked onto Elias. They were sharp, focused, not cruel. Just aware. Elias felt it then. Not fear. Pressure. The kind that made breathing feel optional. "So," she said, her voice calm and controlled, "this is the human they sentenced to me." She walked closer, each step slow and deliberate. "You led fleets," she continued. "You resisted when logic said surrender." She stopped an arm's length away. "Tell me why." Elias met her gaze. "Because we're human." For a long moment she said nothing. Then she nodded once. "Good," she said. "You may survive longer than expected." She turned away. "Service begins now." The door sealed shut behind him. And Elias realized the truth. This was not a punishment meant to break him. It was a test. And whatever she was testing for, the Dominion itself seemed afraid of the result. Elias Vorn did not sleep. The chamber given to him was quiet and dim, with smooth walls that reflected no sound. The air was clean and cold. The floor felt warm under his bare feet, as if the ship itself was aware of his presence. He stood near the wall, breathing slowly, listening. The warship did not hum like human vessels. It did not shake or groan. It felt alive in a different way, like a creature that never needed to rest. Somewhere beyond the walls, Commander Zyra Vale was awake. That thought alone kept Elias standing. The door opened without warning. "Come," a calm voice said. Elias turned. An armored officer stood outside, face unreadable. He followed. They walked through long halls filled with floating screens and silent movement. Crew members stepped aside when Zyra's symbol appeared on the walls. No one spoke. No one questioned. The command chamber waited ahead. Zyra stood at the center, hands behind her back, studying a projection of star systems burning one by one. Red markers spread like a disease across space. She did not look at Elias when he entered. "Observe," she said. Elias stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "These systems fell fast," he said carefully, "too fast." "Yes," Zyra replied. "Because their leaders trusted strength alone." She turned to face him. "Tell me, human, when you were losing the war, why did you not surrender?" Elias took a breath. "Because surrender ends choice." Zyra studied him in silence. "Choice is inefficient," she said, "yet your species clings to it." She gestured to the display. "These are the ruins of those who chose efficiency over will." Elias felt a slow chill. "You brought me here to explain humans," he said. "No," Zyra replied. "I brought you here to test them." Days passed. Elias was placed on the bridge, not as a prisoner but not as an equal. He was given tasks meant to overwhelm him, tactical problems with no perfect answer, scenarios where every option ended in loss. Zyra watched closely. She never shouted, never threatened, she simply waited. Elias failed some tests. He succeeded in others. but every time he explained his reasoning, not in the language of logic alone, but in the language of sacrifice. "Sometimes," he said once, "you lose ships to save time. Sometimes you lose time to save people." Zyra's eyes narrowed. "You trade certainty for hope," she said. "Yes," Elias replied, "and hope spreads." The next test was worse. A simulated enemy force attacked a civilian station. The only way to stop it was to divert power from a nearby defense fleet. "Choose," Zyra said. Elias closed his eyes. He rerouted the power. The fleet fell. The station lived. Silence filled the chamber. "You sacrifice soldiers," Zyra said. "I warned them before I did it," Elias answered. "They agreed." Zyra said nothing. That night, Elias noticed something strange. Zyra remained on the bridge long after the crew left. She stood alone, staring into empty space. "You don't rest," Elias said quietly. "I do not need to," she replied. He hesitated. "Then why do you stay?" She turned. "Because I am thinking about humans." The words felt heavy. "You frighten my kind," she continued, "not because you are strong, but because you are inconsistent." Elias frowned. "You call that frightening?" "Yes," she said. "Unpredictable minds create uncontrollable outcomes." She stepped closer. "My empire is built on certainty. You build yours on belief." Elias met her gaze. "And belief keeps us standing when certainty fails." Alarms suddenly rang. The bridge lit up in harsh light. A new projection appeared. A massive fleet. Unknown design, cold geometry, silent movement. Zyra stiffened. "The Void Assembly," she said. "They erase worlds." Elias swallowed. "Can you stop them?" Zyra paused. "No," she said, "not alone." For the first time, her voice carried something new. Concern. "They will reach Dominion space in days," she continued. "My strategies fail against them." She looked at Elias. "What would humans do?" Elias stepped forward. "We wouldn't try to win fast," he said. "We try to survive long enough to adapt." Zyra considered this. "Then adapt," she said. "You will advise me." The battle came sooner than expected. The Void Assembly struck at a border system. Their weapons ignored shields. Their ships did not retreat. The Dominion fleet faltered. Elias watched the chaos spread. "Pull back," he said. Zyra hesitated. "Retreat is unacceptable." "This isn't retreat," Elias replied. "It's bait." She looked at him sharply. "Explain." "We let them think we're weak," Elias said. "Then we hit their supply line. Humans win wars by breaking endurance, not strength." Zyra gave a single sharp command. The fleet moved. The void followed. When the trap closed, the enemy hesitated for the first time. Their formation broke. The Dominion struck. The system survived. Silence filled the bridge. Zyra slowly turned to Elias. "You altered the outcome," she said. "Together," Elias replied. She studied him for a long time. Then, in a move that stunned every officer present, she lowered her head slightly. "Stand beside me," she said, "not beneath." The crew froze. Elias stepped forward. From that moment, everything changed. The war did not end quickly, but it changed direction. Humans were no longer sentenced. They were chosen. And Commander Zyra Vale, feared across the galaxy, learned something she never expected. That the most terrifying force in the universe was not strength, not weapons, not empires. It was a species that refused to stop hopping. And